5:31 PI.
Talofa, this is Pacific Mornings, 10 minutes past 8 o'clock for Thursday, the 5th of June. Now, researchers are exploring a groundbreaking Pacific approach to treating post-traumatic stress, combining the traditional use of Kava with Talanoa. Now, the study explores whether this culturally grounded therapy could offer a safer, more effective alternative to standard medications for PTSD, especially for Indigenous and Pacific communities. University of Waikato's Associate Dean Pacific, Sione Vaka, is the study co-lead and joins me now. Malo Elile, thank you very much for your time. This is exciting stuff.
Talanoa, Will, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you on your program this morning. Yeah, it's quite exciting time, and it's really good to have this opportunity to explore our indigenous material like Kava within the Talanoa setting for helping anxiety and post-traumatic disorder.
Indeed. And look, naturally, first question would be, what led you ultimately to explore this as an approach to treating post-traumatic stress disorder?
Thank you. I think when we grew up in the islands, we always used kava as after a long, hard day at work at the plantation. When you get home, you used to kava to sort of have a bit of a stop, reflect on your day, relax, and things like that. And my colleague, Dr. Aparosa, have been to UK on a number of visits and met with some of our Fijian military officers there who experienced trauma through their work. And they have tried the psychological interventions there, but very little effect. But when he brought Kava, using it with Talanoa, it has a much more beneficial in terms of their trauma as well. So that's why we want to look at this particular study here.
Right, okay. And so, can you explain how Kava and Talanoa work together in tandem as therapy, perhaps?
Thank you. The the cover content have that relaxant effect which calms people down uh, in terms of having cover, not but combining that with the Talanoa setting, it's a context where people come on a much more similar level and Talanoa. There, people feel like much more open.
Mm.
The social level, social status are deconstructed around there. Not only that, people are feeling culturally safe in that space to have more conversation around it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. So the combination of the two seems to be quite helpful in terms of addressing anxiety and trauma.
I see. Inevitably, mental health is a very touchy subject, particularly for our Pacific community. Are the standard PTSD treatments helpful, or would you argue harmful for our Pacific communities? And what I mean by standard is the more westernised view.
The conventional one is useful, but combining it with the cover in our cultural context is add more benefit to our people as well.
Mm.
So I think moving our Pacific population is coming much more mixed and much more dynamic and stuff. So we could explore as many methods as we can in terms of addressing our population in terms of anxiety and trauma
Mm.
as well.
Okay. Well, what have your pilot studies revealed about the effectiveness of Kava and Talanoa, I suppose, compared to the standardized medical treatments?
Mm. There has been lots of anecdotal evidence about the benefit of kava in this context, but bearing in mind that this study that this clinical trial is about to set off later on this year. So we're looking at the combining Talanoa and Kava in a cultural setting,
Hmm.
comparing it to participant who will be taking Kava caplet
Hmm.
in another Talanoa setting, and then we compare the two, how effective it is around there.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. With all that in mind, and also questions do come to mind in terms of potential safety concerns around this. What can you tell me there?
Yeah, I think Kava has been already accepted and regulated under the food code here in New Zealand. It
Yep.
is pretty safe, and so I think there's a lot of misconception about Kava that it's quite harmful to our liver and our body as well. But comparing it to other stuff like alcohol, Kava is harmless compared to, no, Kava is less harm compared to alcohol as well. But it is quite important for this study to highlight the message. You have Kava, but in moderation. I don't want our people to take it and go and drink Kava all night and think it will help their level of anxiety and trauma. It might create more anxiety when you take a whole lot of time from your family and spend it on Kava. So it's quite important to note that you have it in moderation as well.
With that in mind, look, and this is perhaps a naive question to even ask, but there may be someone listening this morning that wants a bit of clarification around it. So, what is arguably the difference between kava and alcohol?
Kava is having that much more relaxant effect, whereas alcohol have that it stimulate our thinking. If you think about drinking alcohol, people tend to be hyped up. They want to dance. They want to move around. Have a yeah, a lot of movement around there. Whereas kava, when you have kava, it gives you that calming effect, and you relax much more around there. So that's one of the big major difference around there.
Right. Here's a question for you, just going back solely on Kava now. I mean, how do you ensure this intervention respects cultural protocols, right, and avoids, I suppose, tokenizing traditional practices?
That is one of the things that we highlight in this study, that the cover having it in the cultural context provide that much more, contribute much more to our mental health well-being. So sometimes there are other, we drink cover just for not in a cultural setting or whatever we drink it. But this one here, we want to ensure that combining kava together with the way that we speak to each other through the Talanoa is one that is contributing to maintaining well-being. And you're right, sometimes we use a lot of cultural tool and then we just want to tick it off. But this one here, we want to emphasize Kava as it signifies our land, our identity. Not only that, but we add to that one the way we talk in terms of the Kava setting as well.
Got you. Okay. And what do you see in terms of the potential of this study? And what I mean by that, I mean, what potential do you see for the findings? Could this be something that could be applied and spread overseas, perhaps?
We're hoping that the finding that we have, will validate the indigenous knowledge that we have been having for a very long time. It
Yeah.
help us in terms of, I mean, there are new materials that coming in to help us with our anxiety, trauma, but we already have what we have in our community. The idea about some of the solutions we are looking for, it's already within our community. We need to validate that through research in this world. But not only that, we have found as well that the cover together with Talanoa, it's quite beneficial for non-Pacific population as well. They come, like we run tutorial at the University of Waikato. There's like kava bars everywhere where you see other population taking up kava because they find it much more calm and peaceful to be in that environment.
Yes. I want to just finally, before we wrap it up, I want to pick up on that point that you made about the importance of moderation with kava. Are you at all fearful or concerned that potentially with the findings of this study that someone may misconstrue this and think that this is an open floodgate for consuming kava?
Yeah, that is a concern, but I think one of the things that we should learn about is not only looking at that, but also seeing the benefits of kava, because there's a whole lot of studies and research that critique kava, but we also want to look at the benefits of kava for our mental health and well-being.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Fascinating conversation indeed, and important work as well. So thank you very much. That is the University of Waikato's Associate Dean Pacific, Sione Vaka. You have a good rest of your day, eh?
Thank you very much.